at Work, Stories of Grace and Faith. I'm your host, CharlesGruver, and in the last two episodes, I talked about Albert E. Brumley and his song I'll Fly Away, and in researching Brumley, I pretty much found another hymn writer, although he's probably more considered to be a Southern gospel music writer than a hymn writer. And considering I was kind of either because earlier in the year having either not finding information on songs or on hymn writers I was wanting to do, was finding myself coming short of various people and hymns to talk about. So finding this hymn writer was kind of a blessing. The hymn writer that I'm talking about is Eugene Monroe Bartlett. And this episode I'll also look at his song Victory in Jesus. There's not really enough on both him and the song to do two separate episodes. And I consider apologizing for this probably being a short episode, but I've come to the conclusion I've done that a lot of times this season, and I'm probably going to stop just apologizing for short episodes and focus more on what I find and presenting that than being more concerned about how long the episode's going to be. Eugene Monroe Bartlett was born December 24th, 1885 in Waynesville, Missouri. He grew up in Sebastian County, Arkansas, and he eventually attended the Hall Moody Institute in Martin, Tennessee, which is now actually the University of Tennessee at Martin. And finally, he graduated from William Jewell College in Liberty, Missouri. In 1917, he married Joan Tatum, and the couple had two children together, Gene Bartlett Jr. and Charles Bartlett. Bartlett started his music career working for Central Music Company, which was a music publisher in Hartford, Arkansas. Then in 1918, he joined up with David Moore and John A. McClung to co-found the Hartford Music Company, of which he actually served as the president from 1918 until 1935. During his tenure, he opened branches in Nacogdoches, Texas, and Hartshorne, Oklahoma. 1921, he actually founded the Hartford Music Institute, where 5 years later, if you remember a couple episodes ago, he encountered Albert E. Brumley, who also, if you remember, was a student at the Institute, and basically mentored Brumley. He also published the Herald of Song, which was a monthly magazine on gospel music. Now, pretty much to the point of why we're talking about Bartlett, he was a prolific songwriter and wrote many Christian gospel songs, which include Everyone Will Be Happy Over There, Just a Little While, He Will Remember Me, You Can't Keep a Good Man Down, and what is probably his most well-known hymn and song, Victory in Jesus. He also was known to have written some country music, such as Take an Old Cold Tater and Wait, which was recorded by Little Jimmy Dickens. In 1939, it was stated that Bartlett had suffered a stroke, which left him partially paralyzed, and he was left virtually bedridden. And although he missed traveling and performing, he actually continued with his Bible study through this difficult time. So even though he was having troubles, he still held on to his faith. And while he dealt with the physical strains and limitations, he actually looked forward to the eternal victory that he knew was approaching. It was during this time that he actually wrote Victory in Jesus, which first appeared in the songbook Gospel Choruses. This was also the last song that Bartlett wrote, and with being an optimistic reminder of the hope of heaven, this actually became his best known and most embraced song, which actually has only gained popularity over the years and has been published in many church hymnals. Bartlett died on January 25th, 1941, and was buried in Oak Hill Cemetery in Siloam Springs, Arkansas. And in 1973, he was inducted into the Gospel Music Hall of Fame in Nashville, Tennessee. So, again, short episode, but I also know of other podcasts on church history that basically focus on being short 5-minute episodes. So that was Eugene Monroe Bartlett and Victory in Jesus. This is CharlesGruver, and that's God at Work. God at Work, Stories of Grace and Faith, is brought to you by Becoming God's Man Ministries, and is written and produced by CharlesGruver. If you have any questions, comments, or stories of how God has worked in your life that you would like to share, you can contact us at stories@godatworkpodcast.com or by leaving a voicemail or texting 727-315-0830. If you would like to support God at Work or Becoming God's Man Ministries, you can find out how by going to either godatworkpodcast.com or becominggodsman.com. Opening theme is Fine Line, and closing theme is Airline, both by Geographer and obtained from the YouTube audio library. And as always, thank you for listening.